A few years ago, I was looking at a list of games that were published by Nintendo, and a name I didn't recognize caught my eye. It was a game called Warlocked. It was a real-time strategy game for the Game Boy Color. This got me interested. After playing it, I found it to be a very enjoyable gem that no one seems to talk about. Published by Nintendo in 2000, Warlocked was created by now default British developer Bits Studios. They were mostly known for working on licensed games such as Terminator 2 for the Genesis and Die Hard Vendetta for the GameCube. Warlocked plays very similar to most StarCraft-like real-time strategy games. You are given a top-down view of the battlefield from which you can select either a single or a group of units to control. The game is split into two campaigns. The human side, led by Queen Azrael, and the monster side, commanded by the brutal Chief Zog. Both sides play pretty similar, besides some cosmetic changes involving the units. The biggest differences is that the monster side is slightly harder, as you will be put in more situations where you have limited resources and have to think carefully on what you want to spend them on. There's not much of a story. Between battles you're given some updates on how the war is going and your current objective. The objective of each stage changes from level to level. You may be tasked with destroying the enemy base, collecting a certain number of resources before your opponent, or just killing everything on the field. There are 4 types of units at your command. The first is the Worker. These units are weak compared to other classes. They can't attack other units, but can do massive damage to enemy bases. Their main purpose is to collect the resources, gold and building materials, that you need to build farms for increasing your max number of units on the field. It can also build towers that attack anything that gets too close, and barracks to train the next class, Soldiers. Soldiers are your main attack force and can be used to attack your foes directly or be set to defend an area from enemy attack. They come in 2 flavors, Swordsmen and Archers. Swordsmen have a lot of health and are what you will use to win most of your battles. They can attack anything that is on the same level as them and are pretty cheap to make. Archers cost more to create but can attack foes at a distance, enemies at lower elevations than them, and are the only units that can damage dragons. Dragons? Well, they're immune to everything but arrows and wreck nearly everyone in their path. The only downside is that you usually only get 1 per stage, and you also need to find it as a baby and safely get it back to your base before you can use it. The last and most unique unit is that of the Wizards. Hidden in each stage is a wizard that once rescued can be summoned and can turn the tide of battle in your favor. Are your workers gathering materials too slow? Summon a wizard to make them work faster. Transform them into ninjas so the enemy can't see them steal their stuff. Or just turn your foes into zombies so they attack their own side and buy you some time. My personal favorite is Bomb Wizard. Just look at that sexy mustache. The units on both sides of the campaign are the same. The only difference is how they look. For example, the swordsmen on the human side are knights, while the swordsmen on the monster side are orcs, etc. like that. And each side gets a few special wizards. The game's soundtrack is amazing and was produced by Jerome Tell from Maniacs of Noise, a Dutch company that specializes in making music and sound effects for games. Mr. Tell composed soundtracks for games such as Lemmings on the Commodore 64 and the cancelled NES version of Technocop. Seriously, go listen to it, it's freaking amazing. The sound effects are good, and there is some surprisingly good voice work for a Game Boy Color game. The graphics are also pretty good, and I was surprised at how many characters can be on the screen at one time without much slowdown. When you're done with the main game, there is still multiplayer and mini-games to complete. Hidden on certain stages are items that will unlock multiplayer versus maps, or a poker or a sliding puzzle minigame. In 2001, Bits Studios had been developing a sequel for the GBA called Wizards, as well as a Tomb Raider style game for the N64 called Rika. Unfortunately, Nintendo decided not to publish both and the games were cancelled. Rika was later reworked into a stealth action game Rogue Ops for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. Bits Studios was shut down in 2008, and all we have left of Wizards are a few screenshots and a video. All in all, this is a pretty amazing game with a decent length of around 8 to 10 hours, fun gameplay, and great music. This game is owned by Nintendo, and one day I would love to see it represented in Smash Bros., released on the eShop, or get a proper sequel. Currently, the game is pretty cheap to buy online for around 6 to 10 bucks. If you're looking for a good Game Boy Color game, this Nintendo Hidden Gem is definitely worth a try. This has been Megablade J. Thanks for watching, and I will try to update more often. Alright guys, see you next mission.